just hit a stunner to send everybody here home in a bad mood. The Warriors drop a game they could not afford to drop against the San Antonio Spurs. Look, don't tell me that they're ready for a 7-game series with the Lakers or the Nuggets when they're going to drop this game against the San Antonio Spurs. That shouldn't have happened. The Warriors came out and looked like they were really here to play basketball tonight. Draymond Green was locked in very, very early in this game. Draymond was setting the tone. Lots of rebounds and assists early on. The Warriors had a real nice first quarter, comfortable handle on this game. Then the beginning of the second quarter, they handed it all back. The beginning of the fourth quarter, they handed it all back tonight. Ugly, ugly, ugly basketball game from the Golden State Warriors. Again, this is why it's hard to say, yeah, they're ready to be an NBA champion. I'll tell you, Jimmy Butler, if he's not getting to the free throw line 17 times tonight, this game might not even have been close. You know, Steph filled the bill. He had 30. Steph Curry is now the first player in NBA history to have 300 threes made in the season. The only guy to have multiple seasons of that. He's got 6 of them now. That's impressive. But what was not impressive tonight were minutes from Guy Santos. You know, Trace Jackson Davis doesn't get much of an opportunity to do much, so I'm not going to put any of this really on him. But man, that was a game that the Warriors just could not afford to lose. The last 20 or so games have been very, very fun. It's been a great ride, and people have been doing an awful lot of basketball cocaine in the bathroom. But I don't think, based on what I saw here tonight with my own 2 eyes, that this team is like, yeah, we're going to win a championship. Now, I will say this. The best thing that the Warriors have going for them is that this is officially the most wide-open NBA season entering its postseason I can think of. Like, this is officially an NBA season where, you know, with all due respect to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who I do think is going to win the MVP, he is not the clear-cut, absolute guarantee bet the house on it winner of it. There is no guarantee bet the house on it defensive player of the year. There is no guarantee bet the house on it. That team is 100% about to win an NBA Finals. Boston, I think, is a clear-cut favorite. And then everybody after them is a big, I don't know, depends on how they're playing that week. And look, the Golden State Warriors, when they got something good going for them, they're a really good basketball team. Jimmy Butler has been a barometer that has changed the room. There's no doubt about that. Jimmy had about as big of a Jimmy Butler game as you can have tonight. He had 28 points on 8 shots. Guy lived at the free throw line. Like, if that happens in the postseason, those are games that the Warriors are going to win. But you could tell Steve Kerr and the Warriors chased this one tonight because they know they needed it. I saw that the Clippers were up late and the Rockets were up late. So the Warriors probably lost a big game in the standings tonight. You know, if the Warriors end up in a play-in game, you can look back at that Houston Rockets game that left an awful lot of people angry from a couple of weeks ago, and you could point at that. Or that was a week ago, not even a couple of weeks ago. This game was a brutal defeat that they could really not afford to take, and they took it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Serious basketball teams cannot lose a game like this. This close to the postseason, this close to honing the knife. I'm going to tell you, they came out with the type of effort that I thought meant they didn't even want to play the fourth quarter tonight. They did not want to play the fourth quarter tonight. They were going to have everybody resting in this one. We were going to get an awful lot of Guy Santos in that fourth quarter, and that was going to be fine because the game was supposed to be in the barn. A terrible start to the second quarter and a terrible start to the fourth quarter. Let the Clippers climb back in this, and then what do you know? With frickin' what? Was it Sheldon Castle? What is his frickin' name? Stephen Castle? Like, how are you going to lose to a game where Stephen Castle's leading the way with 21? You know, Johnson had 21 too. But this is a Spurs team that was leaning on whatever's left in Chris Paul and whatever Harrison Barnes might have. This is the second time, by the way, I've seen Harrison Barnes drop a huge fuck you game winner on the Golden State Warriors in this building. Harrison Barnes, the revenge game. I always really liked Harrison Barnes. A great interview, a really good guy. And if anybody's got to, put the knife in your back, I guess let it be him. The Black Falcon, the Senator. But this was a bad loss. Moses Moody didn't do enough tonight. Brandon Pajemski finished 3 of 11 for 7 points. He didn't do enough tonight. And I'll tell you this, too. Brandon Pajemski, I do like him as a player. I do. But this guy is picking himself up off the deck. Like, way too much. Brandon Pajemski is picking himself up he gets knocked over too easily. I know he's a little guy out there on a court full of big dudes, but he is constantly picking himself up, and teams are getting a break on transition because he's always on the ground. I'll tell you, this was a confidence rattling defeat. The Warriors got to be looking at themselves back in that locker room going, how did that happen? What did we do? Because we came out with an awful lot of good basketball early, and then I think this team missed Quentin Post tonight. But, are the Warriors really in position to where Quentin Post is the difference between winning or losing tonight? I guess, yeah. But this is no Victor Wembanyama, no De'Aaron Fox, no Greg Popovich. This was a Spurs team that was without identity, without real ability to even compete in this game. And they won it. They won it because Harrison Barnes was just a little bit better at the end. He uncorked a rainbow at the end of this game. That was a rainbow. As soon as he left his hand, I'm like, nah. And then, yeah, it happened. It happened. No Tacos for Life saying 49ers and Warriors games are difficult to watch. Yeah. 49ers and Warriors. Look, 49ers obviously had a terrible year last year. The Warriors had a questionable, suspect start to this year, but man, they haven't been terrible or hard to watch in their last 20 or so games. Since trading for Jimmy Butler, the Warriors have been playing with joy. They've been playing with, forget about joy. They've been playing with a level of efficiency. They've been playing with a level of defense that had everybody in the NBA say, wait a minute, you don't want to be running into this team. But then you see this tonight. And you're just like, what? Sorry, my eyes are a little dry tonight here. I don't know why. But you can't lose that basketball game. You can't. Got 8 quarters of basketball left in the year, and you're going to pee down your own leg against a limping, gimping, old man-led freaking Spurs team at home? Warriors just might have punched their ticket to the play-in with this loss. This was bad. There's no putting lipstick on this pig here tonight. There's no pretending that what we saw is easy to dismiss, no big whoop, no big deal, get them tomorrow. The Warriors are running out of tomorrows. And unfortunately for them, they pissed away an awful lot of games that could have mattered, games that you want to put in that win column early on in the year, and this is where that razor-thin margin comes back to get you. Everybody complains that the NBA season's too long, goes on too long. Then you get down to those last 10 games, and there's not enough. Like, you run out of NBA games that you claim to have so many of when the season begins, but you run out of that shit fast, especially when you need it. The Golden State Warriors, they're a little bit, I don't know, out of gas is even kind of the wrong way to say it, because they didn't look like they were out of gas tonight. This was not a lack of energy. This wasn't a lack of focus. Like, they didn't even play demonstratively poorly. What's a turnover number in this game? I got a sort of incomplete digital box score in front of me. I don't have an actual physical box in front of me. I guess I could have waited for one, but I wanted to come and start talking to you as fast as possible here post-game at Chase Center. But good to be back doing a little post-game. Thanks to the Warriors for letting me in. I don't have the laminated media credential like I used to, but look at me. they're putting the plus on it. So I appreciate that. Thanks very much to the Warriors for not forgetting who I am in this town. That means an awful lot. Appreciate that. We'll see if I get the red carpet rolled out for me in the postseason. It's going to be a little tougher to get in here, especially if it's Warriors-Lakers round one. But thanks to a Harrison Barnes game-winning 3 for San Antonio, that might not be our problem. That might not be a headache at all. And by the way, I'm going to be in Japan that first week of the NBA playoffs anyway, so I guess we'll be coming to you live from Tokyo complaining about the Harrison Barnes shot someday. Man, I cannot believe they lost at this fucking game. That was bad. Yeah, Nick J says the Spurs played hard, but in no way should they have beaten the Dubs. No way. No way. You know, some bad late turnovers. You had a terrible sidelines out of bounds play at the end. Give it up to Kalen Johnson. I don't even know who half these San Antonio Spurs are. Like, I cover the NBA. I've never heard of half these dudes. And the layup that he hit, driving right on Draymond, and Draymond played really good defense on that possession too, but the kid hit a huge shot at the end of the game, and now it's a tie game, and then the Warriors got a sidelines out of bounds slob turnover. And Harrison Barnes, who I'm sure is having a hell of a post-game press conference right now. I bet you Harrison Barnes is beaming ear to ear. But there will be no, like, hey, way to beat us text messages from his former teammates. Like, Harrison Barnes isn't going to get a way to go, great shot, old pal, from Draymond or Curry tonight, because Draymond and Curry both know that this is devastating. This was a bad loss. And you can forget about, like, taking your foot off the gas in any way, shape, or form, because Portland is a bad basketball team that actually decided to play well at the end of the year. So the Warriors are going to run into why not beat the Warriors level of Portland Trailblazer team when they get up there? And then they're going to come back here for a game that could mean an awful lot to the Clippers too. And, that's going to be a coin flip. Warriors hurt themselves badly with this loss. There's just no way to sugarcoat it. There's no way to pretend that, everything will be okay. No, this is and when things weren't okay, we knew what really helped lean into things not being okay. And the loss to the Houston Rockets, but at least Houston's a really good team. This loss, the San Antonio Spurs are not a really good team. Their Hall of Fame coach ain't here. Their future Hall of Fame, Victor Wembanyama is going to go to the Hall of Fame. He ain't here. De'Aaron Fox, very good player. He's not here. This was Chris Paul. Chris Paul skull-dugging his way around for 12 points, good enough to beat you. Bismack Biyombo sucked in this game. This Mamushvili or whatever, I don't even know who the San Antonio Spurs are. This Mamadoukushvili guy, like, he was big. I'll give him that much. He's big, and he helped the San Antonio Spurs into a win column tonight. I can't believe it. I told my wife, I'm like, look, honey, your sister's coming to town. You got another pair of eyeballs on the kids. I'm going to go to the worst NBA game on the schedule. I haven't gotten to many Warriors games this year, so I saved, my worst for last. I'm like, I'm going to go see the Warriors Spurs, and the Spurs ain't coming in here with jack shit. This should be a 30-point win for the Warriors. This should be a nobody important is playing in the fourth quarter game for the Warriors. And instead of that, it was the total opposite. After Steve Kerr gave Steph Curry an awful lot of game off in their last game because it was a blowout over the embarrassing Phoenix Suns, all that gas that might have been reserved for Steph that you could have gone into the postseason with, you had to burn it. So Steph was back at the 11-minute mark in the fourth quarter here tonight. You couldn't bring him back at that 8-6 minute range. And, he had to burn an awful lot. But how many minutes for Steph tonight? 37 minutes for Steph Curry in a loss. You want to talk about a slit your own throat for the long-term statistic? 37 minutes for Steph in a loss. They just can't afford it. They can't afford that. You know, you're going to lose some games, but you can't be burning your curry on the way to losing those games. Anything that's tight, anything that's close, you got to get at this time of year if you're a real playoff team. And horrific loss. Arguably, based on time and situation, that is the worst loss maybe of the year for the Golden State Warriors. Shame on them. Shame on them for this one. This was bad. This was bad. So let me tell you, the plan for Thursday is going live at 11 with my buddy Sam Batesh. We're going to be doing our weekly, starting with the NFL, then working our way out to a lot of other things in sports show together. So that's going to be live at 11 a.m. Thursday, West Coast time, with my buddy Sam Batesh of Thinking Out Loud and his YouTube channel. Speaking of YouTube channels, let me just say thanks to all of you. It has been a record-setting handful of weeks in terms of a viral video getting to nearly 10 million views. And by the time I wake up or go to bed tomorrow, there's a very good chance we will have crossed 40,000 subscribers here. So I just want to say thanks to all of you. Your attention, your eyeballs, your support have meant an awful lot. Those of you who are members of this channel, those of you who just lean forward and hit the thumbs up, that like and subscribe button, you're doing an awful lot to help out. Thank you very much. Thanks to those who have picked up some merch. We've sold some mugs in the last few days. So I'm very excited that you're excited about what we're doing over here. And again, thanks to Raymond Ritter and Brett Winkler for getting us in here. Got a super chat from John. Uncle Damon, good to see you. Definitely worst loss of the year. Yeah, it was a tough one. Thank you very much, John. Appreciate your super. I'm knocking over my own tripod here. And look, you know, I think there's an old saying in show business, when you start knocking over your own tripod, it means it's time to call an Uber and wrap it up. So there it is. A terrible loss. This was not the little bit of a post-game show I expected to do for you. I thought this was going to be like a hearty har-har laugher, easy win over the San Antonio Spurs. It was anything but. It looked like it was on easy street for a minute there, but then completely let go of the stick. Starts to the second quarter, starts to the fourth quarter, and a game-winning shot from the Black Falcon himself, Harrison Barnes, is how the Warriors take a hugely painful loss. As again, the Clippers win, the Rockets win. I think they did. I think I don't have my computer open. The computer that I brought with me is my phone, and I'm using that to talk to you. So that's it. That's all we got for you tonight. Thank you very much for watching. By the way, congratulations on the 40K, Eric Dorff. We're not there yet, Eric. We are not there yet. But thank you. We will be there soon. There is no doubt about that. And thanks to all of you for the continued attention and support. And again, thanks to Warriors for letting me in here. I used to have laminated credentials. I was somebody with a laminated credential. Now they got a print day of. Oh well, it's the life we live now. Thank you so much for watching. Warriors fans, this was a tough one. I'm sorry. This was a bad night and a terrible indicator of what may be to come. Not good. No bueno. Thanks very much for watching, and please do remember to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about the Blues, and please do remember that sports don't build character, they reveal it. And like that, he's gone. Whew.